Alright, and since I'm a one-man army here, you can probably hear the rest of my band outside. I'm going to be trying to shoot and talk about these things at the same time. So, beginning here, we've got my Warwick Streamer 5. As you can see that it has no fret inlays. Everything is standard. I've got the standard MECs. And I'll go up close in a minute, but yeah, it's got a natural finish. And I'll put the specifications on the screen. 5-string bass, because that is generally what I go for. I just like the extended range. And this was a bass that I got because obviously I'm a huge fan of Warwick. Ever since I started playing bass, I've always wanted a Warwick. And when it came time to get another instrument, I was in the middle of the decision making process, and this Warwick came to be. I found it at a guitar store in my price range, so I definitely went ahead and picked it up. So coming up to the front of the bass, you can see that it's got the regular soap bar style pickups. They are the soap bar MEC 5s, and they're all passive. The entire bass is actually passive, so there are no active parts, no active electronics on there whatsoever, so there's no preamp battery in the back, there's no battery for the pickups. It's got a single volume knob for the neck pickup, it's got a single volume knob for the bridge pickup, and then it's got a master tone knob all the way at the end. Very, very simple bass. It's got the signature Warwick 3-dimensional bridge system where you can adjust the height and spacing of the strings at not only both the bridge areas, but if you go up here, up there in the nut area right there, you can actually adjust string spacing in the action. In the back here, you see it's got a 5-piece neck. It's 5 different pieces of woods. I'll have the specifications for that written on the screen as well. But that is also another signature thing Warwick does. It's got 1 piece of wood on this side, another one on the other side, one in the middle, and then there's 2 bindings that go right in the middle down there. That's actually very awesome. I've got a special strap on here. You can kind of see it. It's the rose on leather, and there's a really funny story about this strap actually. My guitarist Dan, he gave this strap to me a few years ago, and it was a strap that was made in a prison by his father's friend. And I'm not sure what he went to prison for, but he made this strap, and it sized perfectly for me. I've got 3 settings. I've got 3 sizes, which is one is for fingerstyle, one is for picking, and one is just generally if I just want it in the middle. And this strap is actually badass. All right, a little up close look at the pedal board. Currently on the right, I've got a Crybaby bass wah by Dunlop. I've got a video for that. And then the first real thing it goes into is my Planet Wave strobe tuner. And then I've got my SansAmp bass driver, which is my preamp essentially. And I've got videos for this, and this, just nothing on the tuner. The bass muff I've got for fuzz, and then I've got the ISP noise decimator, which I have a video on how to use decimators, just to keep the feedback away from the big muff and just to kind of keep the subtle hiss off the tone. So without anything, my sound. Alright, so just nice. I have a nice lined out hollow bass sound, and then you click on the SansAmp. Without the decimator, you can hear there's a hiss, and with the decimator, it goes away. So it gives me the majority of my tone inside of there. And I'm going to adjust a few things on here so that I can actually click on the fuzz pedal. So I had the footage that I shot of the stuff behind me, and then I lost it. And so now I'm reshooting this months later, after all the other footage that you saw, and so it's gonna be a lot of the same stuff for me, and so it's gonna sound a lot less enthusiastic than it was going to be. So starting here on the left-hand side, I've got my guitarist's Lambda Lexicon interface, which I'm pairing with the Line 6 UX2, which I cover in a video earlier, and you can click on the Line 6 itself to take you to that particular video. Funny thing about this is after I started using it, about a year or two after I started using it, I was going to use these XLR inputs here, but they wouldn't work, and the plus 48 light would come on, meaning that there was some voltage somewhere in here. There is, it is functional electronically, but for some reason these inputs were not working. And I tried various different XLR cables, so the cable wasn't the problem, and I tried different microphones, and the microphone wasn't the problem. So I just went ahead and kind of made it so that this was kind of useless for the XLR inputs, and I only use this for the quarter-inch inputs for my bass or guitar if I'm going to be running into the computer. That is a little bit unfortunate because I will have to follow up the UX2 video with that information, because that does make this a little bit less of a flawless system. I would like to be able to kind of go through just a single interface. The Lambda, which I haven't reviewed by itself, but is quite popular, actually has the opposite problem. The quarter-inch instrument input on here does not work, and the XLRs on the back do work. So I'm kind of using this for the functions that this doesn't work for, and vice versa. So that's again, I'm ghetto rigging this in a way that I should only really need one of these two things. And when they were out of the box and when they were new for the first year and a half or so, both of them were working just fine. So I'm not sure why these inputs were giving me any trouble, but I definitely had to utilize both of them now. And it kind of becomes a problem because I can't run this interface and this interface in at the same time on Logic, at least not an easy way for me to do it, where I can have an instrument run into here and a microphone run into here at the same time. But that's not something that I'm going to be doing in this room anyway. I'm not going to be running two things at the same time. But if I had liked to, you should be able to just do that with one system, but again, that became a problem. I'm not sponsored by Tabasco at all. I just enjoy, I always have Tabasco in my room, so this is kind of where that goes. Coming up here, on top of my studio monitors, I've got a blue Snowball USB microphone. You can click on the microphone itself to take you to its own video. Again, something very versatile because it is USB and it hooks me up directly to my computer, so I don't have to fiddle with anything else, meaning that I don't have to use an XLR input with this microphone, and I still get a decent enough quality with it to use it in a lot of situations. And that kind of came into play after I was having trouble with the UX2. So I wanted to get a microphone that I could just kind of go right into Logic with, and no hassle whatsoever beyond that. Also, microphones are a little bit more complicated because you need a mic preamp, and there's so many different types of microphones for different types of applications that I essentially wanted to kind of get a fix-all, and this was the best I could come up with at the time. The monitors that I actually do not have angled right now, I need to get the angling feet that these can go with, and so these are Bluetooth monitors by Samsung. They're the BT4 model, and these I have not done a video on. I'm not sure if I'm going to. I might, because there was one inquiry when I first got these about a month into owning them. I think about a month and a half into owning them. The right speaker actually stopped working, and it was functional because the blue light would come on and everything hooks into this speaker. It just kind of goes into the left speaker. It'll send audio to the left speaker. Everything is powered onto the right monitor. For some reason, it was just the speaker input that was not giving anything out. And so I sent that back to Samsung, and they sent me some new ones. I had to pay for shipping myself, so it ended up costing me about $50, so it was half the price of when I got this to do it. So I'm not sure if it was that worth it. They're great. I mean, they're Bluetooth, so they connect to anything that has Bluetooth connectivity. Is great for reference tracks and things like that. But I can use it for serious applications like running into my DAW and having everything referenced into these monitors, and at the same time using these as standard computer monitors so that I can just watch YouTube videos and those kind of things with these. So again, a very versatile setup, which is an ongoing theme you'll see in this extremely miniature sort of studio that I've got. Is I need one thing to do as many jobs as possible for me so that I can efficiently get through what my workload is without having to utilize too much space and or time. That is what's usually going to get me to buy an item, is exactly how efficient it's going to be. That's why I'm sort of disappointed in the interface system, because I would love to just have kind of one. And you can see I don't even have a mixing board. My mixing board is always inside the DAW, so I do not like to use too much space here. Right in the middle here, I've got a Korg micro key. It's a 25 key MIDI controller. This thing is really cool because it essentially gives me access to software instruments inside of my DAW, and I can make original music that I can put in the background of these videos that you guys watch without having any copywritten problems. Because when music is copywritten, and it is one of the major things about the channel that you're on, it's extremely hard to come up with music or to make music for a video every single time. I don't have a composer. I am my channel's own composer, so I have this thing where I can access a bunch of different synths, a bunch of different instruments, drum tracks, things like that, where I can just quickly kind of come up with a nice pop 4/4 beat that I can put in the background of a video that is created by me, and has no copyright whatsoever besides by me, which again would automatically just go with my publishing. Anyway, finally, I'm using a mid-2011 iMac. I just upgraded to OS X Yosemite, which is nice, but I had some software issues with that, and I had to go back and fix a few things. In my DAW, though I'm partial to Logic 9, I also have Logic Pro 10, and I'm using all Apple software essentially. I'm using Logic for most of the music editing that I'm doing here, all the music stuff, and I'm using Final Cut Pro 10 for the video editing. So I do all my media stuff, everything that you guys will probably see on this channel. Everything is done on this computer, and it's been working. It's a great workhorse. It's fantastic. I am actually going to be getting a MacBook Pro so that I can take this experience with me on the road, essentially, and I can just pull out what I need from my desk here, and I can essentially take that with me, and I can kind of have this small setup with me somewhere else. So that's my impromptu, what is my rig video. I'm probably going to be updating this very, very quickly because ever since I shot that, I've actually accumulated and lost equipment, and that does change. I end up doing that a lot. I'll gain and lose equipment. So I will be updating my rig again very, very, very soon. But that is currently what I'm using, and at the bulk of it, that is what I'm using. Nothing important has really changed. And if you guys have any questions about any of that kind of stuff, or if you want me to do an individual video about anything that you saw in here that I don't have up on, definitely let me know and down below. Other than that, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching. Follow, do everything. All the links are down below for that. I do have a band which is selling music actively now on iTunes. Link again down below for that one. Band is called Eternity Knocking. Please look us up. And this is actually the first official video where I get to advertise that. So please check it all down below and everything. And again, request videos and all that kind of stuff. All right, I'll check you guys next time.